All right, greetings from the survival pod out here in the wasteland. This is Freedom Phil, and what's the topic? Let me be honest. Sometimes I think the British, you truly deserve what you're dealing with right now. And I know a lot of you would be like, "Oh, we don't deserve this. It's mass invasion and all this." No, you do. You really do. I watch some of the situations going on with your police, and I see the people, the regular normal people dealing with things, and I just look at the way that the passive, you know, good little British people, you're doing normal things and you're being punished for it. And who allows it to happen? Yeah. Where am I going with this? This is Freedom Phil. Like, subscribe. Let's get into it. Always turn up the video speed. I get, the old school, kind of dry British culture, occasionally a little jolly, a little wacky. It's like the most dour Brit, the joke of it's always been, most dour Brit smiling from ear to ear after getting laid. How are you feeling, Cedric? Johnny good? The rest of the time, it's like, you don't say this and you don't do that. I would argue a lot of the British phenomenon problem that you see is you guys have fucking huffed your farts for so fucking long about the British Empire and blah, blah, blah. You stopped being the British Empire probably, after World War II? Let's be real. You were slowly fading away after World War II. And you're still huffing the fumes from, you're just trying to cruise down the road. And after the fall of the Berlin Wall, most politicians worldwide started becoming more pussified. And a lot of the subversion went underground. Let's just be real about it. Like the overt subversion that we would see. In fact, the subversion was underground the whole way during the Cold War and even before that. But it really went underground. We won, blah, blah, blah. No wolves left on the hills. I mean, hell, my dog, a Pembroke Welsh Corgi, is a great example of breeding that happens when you don't have any major predators around. Sure, he's great for what he does, assuming he was trained to be a cattle dog, because the cow will kick over it. But think for a second why you had to breed animals taller once you got to the New Worlds. Once you got like Australia or parts of Africa, South America, and America. You know why you had to do that? Because there were fucking bigger animals around. So you needed a dog that could actually maybe, fight. Well, you look at the British, and I think maybe the Pembroke Welsh Corgi is a great example of it. And they're like, not just because of the Queen, but when you think about it, and by the way, if you're not a subscriber, I don't want to hear from you. No offense, but I really don't care what you've got to say if you're not my subscribers. And they're like, what? Yeah, I actually expect something out of people. And just because you're a subscriber doesn't mean I'm not going to fucking put you in timeout. But I'm being real about this. When I look at the British, I see a weak people that are that's been relying off ego for ages. And for people that don't understand what I mean by that, there's no reason whatsoever that you should be tolerating all fucking uncontrolled masses that have been led into your country. In fact, as Sargon's pointed out many times, they say illegal immigration when in fact most of the immigration that's causing problems is legal immigration. So you're literally letting people in just to get on the dole. Now, who's allowing that to happen? British people that are too afraid of what they've got to lose to stand up and do a goddamn thing about things. And when they stand up, if you say like a mean tweet, think about how neutered you have to be as a people to where your police spend more time searching the internet for likes on a tweet or a rude comment than they do actually busting foreign pedophiles and rapists. Do you think for a fucking moment that if you went to a Muslim country and you did the same shit that they're doing to you, you wouldn't be taken out into the street and probably killed? And at the very least, fucking flogged on a regular basis. No, the British people, just like the rest of the Europeans, just like a lot of pussyfooting Democrats in America, are the reasons. Democrats and afraid to lose anything Republicans. The good, reliable masses. There's a reason occasionally you need some chaos to stir things up. Sometimes you need that anarchist punk rock spirit to come out and be willing to fucking burn some shit down. Because if you're going to incrementally lose things, what was it, Sun Tzu? You know, if you let your enemies eat away at your power, soon have none of it left, something like that. If you slowly, incrementally lose your country because you're unwilling to stand up and do anything, whose fucking fault is that? And yes, more people are starting to stand up, and hopefully you can do it through the vote. You know, the Rupert Lowe Party, what is it, Restore Britain or something like that. Hopefully you can do it through the ballot box. But I'm going to be real about this. If it doesn't work through the ballot box, are you actually willing just to finally just be frank, look at your police and be willing to kick ass? Well, we could be arrested. Then you live under the boot of the tyranny that you have slowly crafted for yourself. Your own peaceful ways have allowed you to be conquered. And just like with the situation with a Pembroke Welsh Corgi, that dog would not exist if there were any predators around. You have to evolve, just like any other animal, to have some feet and fangs. Otherwise, these foreign coyotes coming out of the Islamic world will eat the flock. They're not even wolves. You understand that? You invite these people into your country, not you personally, but your government does, because your government knows none of you have any fucking fangs. So they invite in all these people to slowly replace you. And honestly, fucking from a rich politician, it's the same strategy the Democrats use in America. This is why when I see black people talking about, couldn't possibly vote Republican. Yeah, because voting Democrat for the last 60 years has really done a lot. It's great for the ghettos. The ghettos look great today. Like, God fucking forbid you think differently. Like, the black people in America, for instance, are being replaced by foreigners because they know the foreigners are a solid vote. And they will vote as a block vote for the benefits, just like you see with the Somali community. So you don't what? Well, you don't think that's the exact same strategy that Labour is using, your Keir Starmer Labour is using to replace you, because the politicians don't give a shit who they rule, just as long as they maintain power. Understand that? They are perfectly willing to sell your countries out to maintain power. But ultimately, whose fault is that? You. You're like, this is the problem with a lot of people. They're never willing to get their hands dirty. And to the point where you have old people that just say, I don't like where the country's going. And the fucking cops show up to you said something rude on the internet. There was a lady in her own neighborhood walking her dog, and some Muslims got offended. They got offended. And they called the police. We don't want them. It is haram to have dogs. Who the fuck decided we all need to bend over backwards for this new populace? Well, I guess it was you by not kicking the shit out of them. Oh, it's haram. Okay, you haram your ass back to fucking some part of Africa or fucking the Middle East. Haram your ass back the fuck over there. You want to live in an Islamic country? Move to an Islamic country. But because you are so weak, and I hate to say it, like I said, the British Empire has been huffing its fucking farts for years about, the British were so civilized, was so much stronger and better than those uncivilized Americans. Meanwhile, mind you, Europe, by the way, communism, that's a European creation. Fucking the situation in World War I, World War II, both European problems that Americans had to solve. I'm a little, as an American, I'm a little sick and fucking tired of a bunch of problems that came out of Europe being America's fucking problem. And you know what? It's not that there aren't a lot of, patriot British people out there who love England. It's that the moment, and just like a lot of Republicans in America, It's part of the reason I say I'm a laid back libertarian, even though I am kind of I'm a firebrand, let's be honest. I'm a passionate person. It's funny, on one side I'm completely laid back, on the other side, once I get into something, then the fucking fire breathing comes out. There's a lot of British people out there that really love their country. They love England, and they love their culture, and they want to maintain it. And then you got some middle-of-the-road, fence-sitting so-so fuckers that ain't going to risk anything. That's just like a lot of Republicans in America. They're more afraid of what they have to lose than they can conceive of losing everything. They can't conceive that they will lose everything because it's so incremental. Believe you me, though, when you have a culture of people who come into your country and they are having 4 wives, they may not be married to all of them, but they have 4 wives. Religiously, they have 4 wives, and they're having anywhere from 6 children apiece or more, all on your system. You will be fucking replaced if you don't get a handle on this. The termites will slowly destroy the building you live in. But, Johnny-o, tip, oh, we can't dare offend anybody. We're the British. Why is our country turning into an Islamic shithole? Why? You all know why it's happening. And that's why when I see some of these people, like, I watch the cops moving regular British people around like a sheepdog moves fucking lambs. Well, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. Where are your fangs? Why are you a sheep? And someday, whether it gets, hopefully, in a safe, normal way, gets voted, this problem gets voted, and they basically start restoring Britain back to the way it used to be. And they just say, no, we don't have to put up with this. Take a lesson from Poland. Poland's not putting up with this shit. Seems like is it Denmark that's starting to be like, nope, we're kicking you the fuck out, and we're seizing your jewelry and other shit. And people are like, oh, that's so horrible. Well, don't come then. You know, it's funny. In America, if you said this sort of thing, people would think, oh my God, you're so a racist and Islamophobe. But if I was a First Nations person and I said, I want to maintain my culture, my people's ways, and my people, so my great-great-grandchildren will still exist, they tell me that's a beautiful thing. But when it's America or England or a European country, and you say, I want to maintain our culture and our way of life, so in 1,000 years, people will still know what it means to be British. You guys are like, oh, I don't want to offend anybody. And that's why you're losing your fucking country. Sometimes you have to be a little radical. Sometimes you gotta be willing to lose something. There's no free lunch in the world. There's no fucking free lunch. Thomas Sowell. There's only trades, exchanges. Like even like so for instance, if someone gives you money, you're holding a sign on the side of the road, you gave up time to get that money. You go to work, you give up time to make that money. You want children, you're going to sacrifice some of your time in your life to have children and raise children. You want a country and a culture, then maybe sometime you got to stand up and protect it. You got to be willing to lose something personally in your own life. Otherwise, you'll lose everything slowly because you're too weak to defend what you have. And people who are more predatory will come along and take it from you. It's that simple. I think the Corgi is a great example of what Britain is. And look, I love Corgis. They're fucking awesome. They're like little mini huskies with cattle skills. But, you know, I'm just saying, the UK deserves what's happening to it because for years, it was just waiting for someone else to do the work for them. Anyhow, Freedom Phil, take it easy.